Krieger-Watkins here with Mason County Press's The Scoop, brought to you by West Shore Bank. And today I'm joined with Henrik Lidman from Prayer and Praise Assembly of God Church. Do you guys still call it that whole name?
Yeah, we
okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Because I grew up next to Bob Rossi, the previous
That's right.
pastor, so that's how I knew it. So how are you?
I'm doing really good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So you have been kind of leading the talk on churches in Mason County, when we should go back, how we should go back, and what that looks like, right?
Yeah. So I'm not like in leadership of that by any means, but it's just I've been kind of starting conversations to make sure that the churches can work on this together.
Sure.
And just see what it will look like when we start to come back to the churches, to the buildings again.
Okay, so what have you guys been talking about? Like, what are some of the ideas or time frame that you really, because I know you've been talking to Kim Cole, our sheriff,
Yeah.
Mark Barnett, chief of police, Kurt Vanderwall, Jack O'Malley, because they're kind of the ones that are giving us all the information of when and where we can do things. So what is this kind of going to look like for you guys, do you think?
Well, it's been a lot of conversation about how to like interpret some of the restrictions that are coming down, because really the churches are really exempt from that, like starting from the Constitution, like all
Right.
the way down. So for us, like all the local churches here in town just want to be part of the solution, like as far as, you know, helping the community and therefore not having gatherings.
Right, just being safe, you know.
Just being
right,
safe.
proactive and that kind of thing.
So what happens now is that as these restrictions are starting to loosen up a little bit, that we start to look at how can we meet and what's the safe way of doing that.
Right.
So we started a conversation then with Senator Vanderwall and Jack O'Malley, and you know, just to have that conversation. So we had Zoom meetings, and
Sure.
you know, it's like everybody else. So it's that has been super good. So the different things that we can do, there are churches that are talking about having a drive-in, stay-in-the-car church services.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's one way you can do it, because then you have one household in each car.
Right.
But as far as coming back into the church building, that's getting a little more like interesting as far as what to do. Like when this first started, a lot of churches they took away all the coffee stations, communion, handouts, bulletins, things,
Right.
and
Anything you could touch, basically.
all that stuff. You know, so you know, as we move back to this, I know that there's a lot of churches in town, including us, that are looking at the timeline of when to go back and what that looks like.
Sure.
So it's been great. I have never, in all the years that I've been here, seen so much conversation among pastors, just because we want to serve our community, we want to do what's best for our community, at the same time as we really want to gather with our church families, and we want to do that safely.
Yeah, it's nice that everybody's been so proactive on saying, like, yes, we know we could meet, but we want to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
So you guys have all kind of turned to the Zoom thing or the Google chat rooms and hangouts and all that. And we were talking earlier about all the pastors or youth ministers who have gone online and created these videos of your church services. And we were joking, you said that you don't want to become too great at it because you want your congregation to return to the actual church. Not that the building makes the church or anything, but you know, you want to have that meeting of the church family again too. So it will be interesting to see in the next couple of weeks of how that works. But let's talk about one major factor. People over the age of 55, 60 that are dedicated every week coming to church, but they're also at higher risk for the coronavirus. How has that been looking as far as saying, like, oh, you all can come, but you still have to stay at home? Has that been a conversation?
That's a huge conversation, because if you take, you know, most churches in the United States are, you know, around 100 or less. You know, so in our community we have a few churches that are bigger,
right?
But most churches are, you know, they're around that that size. So if you take a church that says, you know, about 100 people that meet, so if you remove the ones that are 70 years old or older, and then you say it's probably not really wise to have childcare.
Right.
So then you don't have any childcare, and you encourage the older people to stay home. Then you're going to have a church service of probably 30 people.
Right.
You know, that
Right.
came. So then you have to weigh that and say, is it better to stay online until we can do the big opening when everybody can come? And then the question after that becomes, will they? You know, that we might have a new normal where you will have people that will stay home, maybe even all through the summer,
Right.
just because of, you know, their preference. In
Or
that.
the exact opposite of them saying, we're coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to a point, where do you really draw the line? So this will be interesting to see kind of, you know, I mean, it is their free will to be able
Yeah.
to come in and go to church. But, you know, I mean, I could see all sorts of things happening, like designating seating for different
Yeah.
age groups even, and that kind of thing. So it will be quite the interesting thing to see in the next month,
Yeah.
2 months through the summer, like you said, because we really don't know, you know, when this is all gonna
That's true.
end or we get a vaccination or whatever happens. So, well, anything else you want to let people know in as far as from your church, or things, anything interesting that's come about in these meetings that you want to share with the public?
Well, in these meetings, like I said, it's been so good to see so many different churches coming together and working together. That's been super good. And also to be able to see that there's like hope. You know, we can give hope. People are saying, hey, can you give me a date when this starts? So that's super encouraging to see. Another thing that's happened is that I believe that a lot of churches we had a crash course in how to do this online and how to do church services. So we have actually, I believe, reached more people than we have before, because we're reaching a whole new audience.
Sure.
Where actually people might not want to come to the church building, but now they're going, oh, look at that, they're live on Facebook. So then they start to come in. So we actually have people that, if you will, come to our church online than we ever had before.
Yeah, I've noticed even when I'm on Facebook, I've actually attended
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of different churches that I've never actually attended in person, and it's actually been kind of a nice way to just see what else is out there.
Yeah,
You know, if
that's
you
true.
are like looking for a church, if you're new to the area, or if you're looking to change churches or anything like that, this has given kind of that kind of platform to do that. But you're totally right about, I think you probably have had more people than you even know actually attend church
Yeah.
with you than you would ever know for, you know, seeing them inside. So it is really kind of it's a cool thing that we have the technology to do it,
Yeah,
because
it is.
if we didn't, it would just kind of be like, where is everybody? It's a nice way too that you can check in with people
Yep.
that you know might not be doing so well, or that have been a major advocate for your church.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy way for you to like reach out to them too. So I think that's, it is cool. And then maybe even when you do go back in, you can also provide the online service as well.
Yeah.
So you can
There are
do
things,
both.
other things that we have to look at that we do together. Like one of the things that we have coming up every year is National Day of Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's May 7th this year. And that's been the thing where we all gather at noon at the courthouse lawn.
Right.
And we stand shoulder to shoulder and pray. Well, we can't do that now.
Right.
So now we're going to broadcast that through a radio station.
Okay.
And then we're going to have pastors praying for different topics. And then we will encourage people they can drive to a parking lot. So we pray for the hospital. You can go to the hospital and pray there. If you pray when we pray for the churches, you go to a church parking lot. If we pray for the city, you can go down to Stearns. So it's kind of like a new way of doing National Day of Prayer, and that's what every pastor has been forced to do, is to think more creatively, like how do we do this, and not only like pull off a church service, but how do you really disciple people in this moment, and how do you make sure that everybody's okay?
Yeah,
It's good.
It is good, and I'm sure it's been difficult at times for you just because of the unknown thing, but it is cool that you guys have all really banded together for the common good, the better of all the people,
Yeah.
no matter which church they're attending. So again, I want to thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And for any other news, check out MasonCountyPress.com. Our weather is always brought to you by Smith & Denny Insurance. And keep tuned in to whatever church you go to see kind of when more and more of these restrictions are going to be